Hi, I'm Damon Smith, Extension Field Crops Pathologist at the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
I'm Brian Luck, Associate Professor and Extension Specialist in Machinery Systems and Biological Systems Engineering at the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
So in this episode of Bumper Crops, we're going to talk a little to Dr. Luck about just alfalfa harvest. A lot of you are probably coming up on that this week, and kind of traffic in the field, and how do we look at traffic? Should we be just driving across the whole field as we do our harvest in an alfalfa field, or should we be utilizing some infield roads?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we've been studying for 2 years now, going into our third with a traffic study. We have infield on-farm kind of research, and then we're doing plot work as well. We used a swather to run over alfalfa after harvest, and we did it at different timings. So same weight across the board, and then we did 24 hour later, 56 hour later, and 72 hours later after the cutting. We found that in the worst case scenario, which is the later time of running over the alfalfa and running over it more, you'll actually lose almost a half a ton per acre.
Wow.
With the machinery traffic the way we did it. Some of that kind of goes with weather, soil moisture, other things depending on what's going on. We also detected an incredible amount of compaction. We measured that as well when we ran over it more, and actually just more. The later didn't matter in terms of compaction.
So should we be just driving on that same spot in the field, or should we be just kind of driving all over the place?
Yeah, so I've had conversations with farmers, and the one thing that just made me shake my head was they talk about never driving over the same spot. If you're able to distribute the tire load across the field, you're losing yield that way.
Yeah.
Ideally, if I had my way, I would keep all of the trucks on the end rows until they're on the row that they're going to go meet the chopper. You'll lose a lot in the end rows, don't get me wrong, but if you can limit the traffic that you have out in the center high producing parts of the field, you're going to save on yield. It's going to be a lot better.
So what's going on physiologically with the plant as we're driving across those plants? What's going on? Have you guys looked at what's actually happening to the plant itself when we run over those crowns?
Absolutely, yeah. So we are collaborating with the University of Georgia, and we did a greenhouse study looking at putting pressure on the soil only, the plant only, and then the entire soil surface. When we did that, we actually found that the damage to the plant happens when you drive over it later, which kind of makes sense a little bit, but as that plant regrows, you're damaging the new shoots, you're damaging the crown, and that's where you're losing your yield. So when you initially mow it, it's less vulnerable than if you come back 2 days later. And hay's the most obvious case. If we're making hay bales, if I come back a week and a half later and I'm running over those plants to pick the hay bales off the field, I'm doing a lot of damage. Silage isn't so bad, but still we're coming 2 days after we cut it, generally somewhere in that range for dry down purposes, and that plant's starting to regrow, and it's definitely at a vulnerable state. So if you can limit your traffic in the field at those times and maintain, the infield roads is what we're talking about, or controlled traffic, you'll kill the plants where you do drive, but the rest of the field will be better for it.
See. Good information there from Dr. Luck. If you'd like to learn more about alfalfa research and traffic, I'm sure you have a website they can check out.
It's wimachineryextension.bse.wisc.edu.
If you'd like to learn more after you visit that website, be sure to check in with your local extension agent.